Oh, yeah. Happy comic book day, and thank you to Bad Mary for that too sweet playing. Welcome, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is U.S. Comics Cast, Chapter 2, Episode 10. Two topics, 60 minutes for the people. I'm John Rivera, the CEO and co-founder of U.S. Comics.
And that must make me the COO and other co-founder of US Comics, aka your Long Island Lothario, the closest thing to Latino heat that you can afford, Charlie Rivera. What's
Dude.
going on, John?
I would have put down hard earned American money that you were going to adjust the moniker for the long distance Lothario. Because Charlie, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, is coming to us from thousands of miles away, across the South Pacific, from Hawaii, USA. Charlie, where are you at? You are not surrounded by a Toys R Us island of misfit toys whatsoever.
That's very true. I am a 13-hour flight away
Oof.
from home.
Oof.
I'm very happily set up at my girlfriend's parents' house, which they are selling. So if you have like nearing $1 million, you too can record in their dining room.
So add on to Charlie's list of gigs, real estate agent. He is, I assure you, not registered.
They're the sponsor
in
this
Hawaii.
week. So if you want to live in Kihei, which is
I
in
mean,
Maui,
they're sponsoring you. I have gotten no treats on a stick with pineapple or coconut or nothing. So that's handle your business, kid. Keep them separate.
I quite literally was so, every week we ask each other how we're doing, and the answer always varies.
That
But
we
to
know.
say
We
that
know
after-
already.
Yeah, after a year of being cooped up in my house, I did the math the other day. I have only left my house in a year something like 52 times, and I'm including like grocery shopping.
Right.
So I just needed a change
Food
of
and toys is the only thing that gets Charlie out the door.
Even my comic books, they deliver to me because that's how blessed my life is. So again, I'm still working. I'm still podcasting. I'm still doing my day-to-day routine. The difference is it's like 70 here at 6 a.m. It's one of the rare times it's raining and it's still like warm. Like I need to take a walk in the rain.
The rain
cool
is
off.
coming straight out of the sun. But the joke's on you because no exaggeration, you left and it was like 25 degrees. You landed in Hawaii and it was 60 degrees here. I'm honestly wearing a sweatshirt.
You're welcome.
Just so you don't feel bad. Like that you were not just like your name should have been like it should have been a Sonny McGillicuddy because when you leave, woo, the rays started shining and warmed
Do you know
up.
what the fact is? My proximity to the tri-state area allows the weather to stink. Once you remove the sunshine of everyone's life, Charlie Rivera, you need the weather to be good, man. That's how it works.
Nice, very nice. Well, Charlie's travels notwithstanding, time has not stood still. The wheel has kept on rolling, and boy, oh boy, when certain things garner enough momentum, they cannot be stopped. And the aptly named, we know now, WandaVision, has rumbled through the house with its inevitable tear-inducing finale. Unbelievable. Here we are in a place where WandaVision is not on television. I mean, it's streaming on demand, but
It's on TV forever because so is Daredevil. I've been rewatching Daredevil seasons 1, 2, and 3. I will fly back 13 hours just to smack your mouth.
All right.
WandaVision's finale, what a absolute it's the first time in a very long time the internet not divided. The whole internet just let out a sigh.
Oh, you think so? Really?
Relief. For the most part, I think what's going to be weird is
I
probably
disagree.
where we're going with it. But at least on day one, I woke up. I got a text from you. I won't spoil it. And then I very quickly, the moment I could, I watched the episode. Then I finally allowed myself to go back on Facebook and social media. And by and large, it was very positive. A lot of people were pulling a Kevin Smith.
Oh boy, it is going to be so much fun
I hate
staring
you.
at Charlie's intermittently frozen images.
Just the best. I don't know if you could still hear me, but
I
Kevin
can, I
Smith was
can.
a blubbering mess, and
Kevin Smith
a lot of
was a
people felt that way.
weepy, crying disaster. And you know what's funny? And he obviously is far more eloquent than either one of us, or frankly, both of us combined. But he made it a point. He just had a recent procedure which
Yes.
caused him to not be on the Buddha for a few days. And the first thing he said was, "And it's not because I smoked too much weed, because I didn't smoke any weed." He was weeping tears. And look, I gotta, I'll put some people's business out in the streets.
Do it.
Um,
Do it.
Friends of ours, associates, loved ones were shedding tears also, but like the smile cries.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
and it
so
was interesting
happy.
because again, I had several conversations, and it's funny because sometimes in this climate that we have now, it's very much an either you're with me or you're against me. Like for the first time, the tribal bats kind of aimed their direction over here. And look, I mean, I take one of those tribal bats to the face, I'm done. This is the moneymaker. This is what pays the bills. Like
That's true.
I cannot, I cannot catch one to the chops. But again, I liked it. I'll preface it this way, because again, this is not the topic. I loved the series. It was different. You didn't see it coming. Far exceeded my expectations. Loved the series. I thought I'm gonna upgrade it here for fear of catching another beating. I'm gonna upgrade. Full disclosure. Initially, my reaction was, and granted, I watched it at 5 in the morning. I watched it. I was like, that was okay. It was okay. Not that it was terrible. Not
Yeah.
that I hated it. Not must I say, was I disappointed because my personal theories did not
Yes.
come to fruition. Because newsflash, I didn't really have particular theories. I listened to several theories come my direction and either shook my head knowingly or like disapprovingly. But I was not personally invested in that. I've got it all figured out department.
Yes.
That's not where I was.
It's
But I'm
ironically
upgrading.
it's
People paying attention. I am upgrading from it was okay to it was pretty good. Okay, all right. Keep your
I
bads to
don't
yourself.
I don't know if that's going to be good enough for some of our
Probably
closest
not.
friends
Probably
even.
not. Oof.
I will
And they're
say
big
this.
ones too. That's the problem. It's not like the little friends wanted to throw me a beating. Our biggest friends wanted to
Yes.
slap my ass.
It's the equivalent of you being like,
Jesus.
F Bullet Club. I'm like, I'll beat your ass.
Come on, dude. Are you crazy? I
There
wear
is
the stripes,
something
son.
there is something so unique to WandaVision. It's the first show in a long time that the week to week wait really for a lot of people it
It helped it.
expanded the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me though, I woke up, I started my day, and I look at my phone finally because I try not to look at my phone when I first wake up, and I have one text from my big brother, the light in the darkness, my personal Superman. And I see this, I turn it on, and all I read is, well, that was disappointing. And my initial
Wow, Charlie
reaction
is
was, and you can confirm or deny, I
Charlie's
sent you a
looking to get
series of
my
texts.
ass
I
beat.
sent you a series of
Oh,
texts saying,
Mephisto, help me.
please don't be WandaVision. Please don't be WandaVision. Because literally, when I tell you, up until this Hawaiian trip, WandaVision kept me on life support
Yeah, no.
emotionally.
She was like, ooh.
Yeah,
Charlie had
exactly.
the red magic aura all around him. She's like, come on,
I got
Charlie.
those extra hexes on my junk. You know what's up. The overall feeling I had by the end of it was like mine, and this sounds so conceited, and
Yeah.
I'll elaborate, but
Believe me, we're all used to it at this point.
I felt like, oh no, I could have written that. My thought was like, oh, that's not
So you're
that
saying like,
finale.
oh, that was at my level.
it literally was like I watched the finale and we get through all the credits and the two tags and I'm like, you're not better than me. And it wasn't because I felt like it was better than me. I was like, fun fact, I
But
could have
again, just to be real specific, you're referring to specifically finale or series.
the
And right now,
finale.
it's awesome because it looks like you're really thinking hard about it. Just eyes closed, all self-satisfied.
The for me it was very much I love the series. I don't think it's not my favorite Disney Plus series.
Well, I mean, there's been two, so
Yeah, but it didn't win. Like Mandalorian I still prefer.
you're saying Mandalorian and WandaVision is like
Number
the
1 and number 2.
equivalent of the Rivera brothers. You're like, you gotta
Yes.
pick one or the other. Charlie is firmly in the camp of Elvis of the Beatles.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
We
that piece
got
of
them both,
garbage.
man. We got them both. Anyways, there's a lot. There really has been a lot going on. I don't know about you personally, but it's almost been it's almost like shell shock. You like the second that you get a little bit of information, like, oh, here's some set photos, like, oh, boom, oh, here's some new news, here's some stuff that you didn't even know was happening. Oh, carry the left over the top. I have been almost like I've been trying to like build an extra time into my closely held schedule just to keep on top of the news stream that's coming in. It's absolutely unbelievable.
1,000,000%. Yeah, it's awesome, but it's like
Good, yeah.
WandaVision finale happened, and immediately there were podcasts about. But then, like the Justice League Snyder Cut movie leaked,
Dude, they
and
are
then it's just
leaked.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Give me a break.
the it feels like it's nonstop lately, and I'm like
If
afraid
you
of when.
believe that content leaked, then I have a little town called Otisburg on the new California coast that I will sell to you cheap.
I
Leaked my ass. But the best part was people like, oh, Tom and Jerry, and then they're they're watching like an hour of Justice League director cut. Now, good for them, and I'm happy for them. They still have another 3 hours to
Yes,
go, so they barely made a dent.
I hope it's just monologuing, like boring, like it's raining and
Like
Darkseid is
if
lamenting.
you took if the invasion of Earth was actually the 4 hour window that was planned, Steppenwolf didn't even show up yet. Like
Yeah.
everybody's still relatively. It's that point in the horror movie where like everything is going well. The fridge is stocked. The family is happy. They're sitting on the couch all together in stocks, and they're all watching Jeopardy and getting all the answers right. Like, come, you know something is about to happen, dude.
Yeah,
Something is about to happen.
something's going wrong. Real quick before we completely get the show started
Yeah, man.
proper, what was your favorite part about WandaVision as a whole? It can be just what was in the finale, but what was your favorite part of it?
About the finale specifically?
Or the show, whatever you're more comfortable discussing.
Oof, magoof. Well, I mean, the show to me, where it was most successful in making me happy, like in entertaining me personally, because I am not I'm neither Siskel nor Ebert. It was the kind of like the novelty of and I know you had a different experience. The first few episodes were among my favorite episodes of the entire series. I loved it. It was a straight up Nick and Knight experience
Yeah.
for me. Like I totally, it's like Captain America's like, I get that one. I totally get it. And Captain America, had he been watching, he'd be like, yes, I totally get that reference. Way to go. So I particularly love the early episodes and the way that they kind of transitioned from decade to decade and show type to show type. And then ultimately, I really absolutely adored the way that they explained why that was the way that it was. Her experience in Wandatopia, like how that was the bootlegs that they could get their hands on and stuff like that, and also the timeline of it, how traumatic it was. I mean, she was
Yeah.
basically on the couch. Real ultimately,
Yes.
like what we saw was a 9 episode therapy session for poor Wanda.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved all of that. Now, for me, one of the points that was like kind of a
Let
an
down.
eyebrow raiser, not a letdown per
Okay.
se, but I'm like, yeah, but what about I personally did not get all choked up the way many others did, who tower over me by a good foot and a half, sometimes 2 feet. The goodbye, the heartfelt,
Yeah.
tear-inducing goodbye. I was really close to yelling at the screen like, "He's alive! He is alive! He is
He's just
still
white
alive."
now. I get it if you're not into it, but
Look,
don't
if
be
you really,
racist.
really want to cry, Wanda, cry for the fact that he didn't come back. Like he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I am Vision. Peace." Woof, and took off. But
I am Vision. This isn't worth it. Now,
he's
for
like,
me,
"This shit is messed up."
one of the things that I didn't love about it, um, I really thought that Vision fight was, and honestly, and this is gonna get me in a little trouble. I thought the witch on witch fight and I thought the
Ah,
Vision on Vision fight were both like they were good.
see, no, and again, I'm going to go ahead and put a few chips in that either or
Yes,
conversation,
please.
because you don't have to choose between the two of them. But whereas the Vision v Vision, Vision on Vision violence, that left me a little wanting. More so, like in theory, because I
Yeah.
totally get where they were coming from. I just thought maybe you could have done it a little differently, but I pretend to write. However, the witch fight, ooh, that was as hot as you read about. That was like a penthouse letter to the editor action. Ooh, snuck up behind her, or whispering in her ear, pulling some Avengers shit. That was the hot stuff. But yeah, Charlie, wrap it
Yeah.
up. Wrap it up quick though, because you're on
Yeah, no,
Hawaii
no.
time.
Let's kick it to again. I still love the series. I've watched the finale twice. I wish I felt as strongly about it as Kevin Smith, but as a whole piece,
Right.
the thing I love most is truly the sum of all of its parts. The way that they told this story and didn't feel the need to give an over the top villain, because it wasn't. It was a woman battling herself and her
Agatha
pain.
all along, bro. They didn't just give us a dope villain. They gave us the dopest theme song you heard.
Oh, that's just delicious fire. But with that being said, we want to hear what
Word.
you think. Is it the greatest thing Marvel's ever done? Does it fall in the middle? For me, is it better than Guardians? That was the question I asked myself because I like ranking stuff just for fun. My Mount Rushmore game is among my favorite games. But with that being that
Who's
you
game?
invented it, I play it. I play video games. I didn't invent video games,
Oh, Charlie, I love him.
sir. With
God
that
love
being
you.
said, John, what's going on this week in U.S. comics?
I have to also say, as pleasantly surprised as I can be, we have had double digit shares this week. Double digits. Ooh, baby, we are going to be doling out some keychains, jangling, dangling, Griffin style. And I'm so excited, as a matter of fact, that we are going to let the call to action roll another week. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a dedicated post about it, so anyone can check it out on social media this upcoming week. But certainly, if folks take it upon themselves to share this very episode, you will have in effect earned yourself, not gotten yourself, not gifted, but earned yourself a Griffin keychain die cut. Ooh, sharp as you want to be. Be careful. Ooh, they'll cut you. But you can earn it. Look forward. They're going to be flying out the door any minute now. Thank you to everyone who's gone ahead and answered that call to action and shared like it was Christmas Day or Hanukkah or anything that you might celebrate. But also, we're going to be looking. We want to build that army up, build them up, build them up. We've got more and more Griffins to give away. So earn yourself one, share the episode, and share it wide.
That's right. And again, lots of ways to earn. Wait for the post. Share this episode now. All of our social media. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media too. All of it's at US Comics. But there's only one way we start the show. Obviously, we listen to
Woo!
Bad Mary. But then, my friend,
Listen.
Han shot first, baby.
All you gotta know is that Han shot first. Guido never had a shot. So put him up, Charlie. Give a little think. Knock it back.
Salute. Refreshing and
Ah,
devastating.
I invented the recipe. and I still pour it too tall. God,
I
what is
believe it.
wrong with me?
Anytime you don't choke on Han's shot, it's a good
Well,
day. That's actually why
that's
him.
what Leia said.
That's why him and Leia got divorced. My brothers start
Mine
my
was better.
time.
Charlie, your time starts now.
So I know we were just talking about WandaVision and think what you want about it. One thing no one is saying is no one's saying, oh, that last episode ruined the series. But it's something I've heard before. Sometimes with these stories, comic book stories, just fantasy so
Mhm.
you can see me again. Sometimes we get so hyped up and we get so excited, it's almost begging to fail. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever been so excited? It's going to be Christmas morning. You go downstairs and the presents are gone, or your brother stole your
If you're
favorite one.
Cindy Lou Who, maybe that's like a possibility.
For me, I've never
Actually, I
really.
take that back because I did wake up on Christmas and my present was in fact gone, and it was a Robotech jet with pilot whose helmet came off, but it didn't take too long to figure out who the culprit was.
Yeah, that helmet was delicious, by the way. I definitely swallowed that thing. With that
I hope you
being
didn't.
said,
I hope you didn't poop it out yet.
it's probably still somewhere in there. With that being said, I had never felt it as strongly as I did Sunday night. Sunday night, my favorite wrestling promotion in the world had a pay per view, and things didn't quite go to plan. So, in the main event, John, to give you a very quick history on this, have you ever heard of a barbed wire death match before?
Before today, no.
Before today. So the concept is in a wrestling match, you have a barbed wire and one person dies. At least one person. There's this wonderful aspect of it that's only created in Japan, where after like 30 minutes or an hour, everything just explodes, no matter what's happened. And
Sounds legit.
AEW was doing this in the beautiful Daily's place for their pay-per-view Revolution. Now, John, I want you to do the people listening at home a quick service. I'm going to play you what it looks like when a wrestling ring explodes. And I want you to do color commentary for me, okay?
Me?
That's
Oh,
right.
God, this kid
Why don't,
puts me to work more than anybody I know.
why don't you tell people what this looks like? Very short clip. Tell people what happens as it happens.
All right, we have a fine gentleman assisting others. Oh, they're dead now. Everybody's dead. It looks like very much, I would assume, Nagasaki towards the tail end of World War II.
So,
That was obscene. Was that like what the inside of a bug bomb looks like? Is that what the
Possibly.
little raid cockroaches see? Holy
now,
shit!
having never seen that before, did you think it looked cool?
It looked like extra footage from Afghanistan that had been made unclassified.
So now
Holy
that is what I
crap.
was expecting.
Ah,
That is
fair.
what I was promised. I
Okay.
want you to tell the people at home what went wrong with AEW's version.
All
Same
right.
concept. Time is about to run out.
Sure.
Very short clip. Tell the people at home.
All right, so we have a situation where a little countdown action. 3, 2, 1. Dick Clark is nowhere to be seen. Okay, we got some maybe sparklers. Okay, couple, maybe some like kind of look like someone lit a match after some Thanksgiving gas-ish, as the Sarge likes to say. That was borderline pathetic.
Dude, it was like four sparklers and apparently
What?
just everything just dudded out. They did a test earlier in
You're
the day.
kidding me.
But after a 30-minute bloodbath of a match, one of my favorite hardcore matches ever, the big finale, to write one of the wrestlers off television for a while was to blow him up in the ring. Worse off, a bad guy who's like his best friend, but one's a good guy, one's a bad guy, runs out to protect him, dives over his body. I'm going to save you, risks his own
Save him from
body.
what? Smoke? That was a wet fart.
Dude, it was the pay-per-view was awesome,
Oof,
and all it
magoo.
did, it was the first time ever I was forced to be in the situation where someone went, they pointed in my face and they said that pay-per-view sucks and AEW sucks and you sucks, and I had to just fucking take it.
You're like,
And it's been a
I'm the worst.
long
You're the best. I'm
it's
dumb. You're smart.
I have never fallen into this trap of throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Sure.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do it with Revolution because the rest of the pay per view is so good. But that's what I want to talk about this week. I wanted to ask you, what are some times where you've been
Faulty
trucking right
firework.
along,
Oh, sorry.
you've been. You've been going right along. You're loving every twist and turn, and
Sure.
then the ending happens. And not only is the ending bad, but for you personally, have you ever had a series that it was ruined with its finale?
You got to be kidding. But that
I'm
list,
out. You know.
that list is as long as, well, it's long. Well, let's leave it at that. But immediately, what comes to mind? You want to talk about fireworks not going off? I was, and then this is a true story, total insight into the CEO. The very first show that I ever binged in my entire binging ass life was Lost.
Oh
I got
no.
on the Lost bandwagon a little late, not super late. Um,
We
I
were
maybe
working
I
together at the
maybe
time, right?
maybe, but I got on board maybe around season 3, give or take. And my goal was, now that we had this brand new awesome technology where I don't have to wait for discs to be sent to me from Netflix. You got to be kidding. This is awesome. So I got myself all caught up before the final season aired. Episode 1 of the final season aired.
Oh,
So I got myself all caught up. So not only was the series build up to that finale, like most people experience, I got a I I didn't get hooked on cocaine. I got hooked on crack for Lost. Like they were just like, oh, just suck on this glass dick, baby. You're gonna love it. Ooh. And by the time the finale was ready to go, I was like, ooh, I'm here for the free Lost giveaway, baby. Woo! Lost and peanut butter sandwich. Mm. I was all in, ready to go. And yeah, no, the it ended with a little bit of AEW fireworks display.
that now have you ever returned to the series? Have you been like, all right, I'm going to pop it on? It's
You know what? I actually have not. Now that we're saying it out loud, I've come across it like in the wild, and like, oh yeah, I remember this or that. You know, if I see fucking Hurley shows up on like how I met your mother, I'm like, tee hee, I know him. That type of stuff. Or
he's always on a plane. They
yeah,
really like just beat that cameo to death.
well, yeah. But like, yeah, and honestly, I don't think about it all that often, except for when, cast members pop up here or there. I mean, look, in the Marvel universe, we have plenty of them. And then actually something just came up again that had me thinking about Lost again. I'm trying to remember. It was like one of those like weird 3 a.m. in the morning type movies that I caught on, like Shot Caller or something like that. But yeah, I don't think about it too often. It's, I don't lean into the pain. I'm not that guy.
The I was when I was putting together this conversation, the one that popped in my head was in the comic book world was Spider-Man One More Day, or I'm sorry, yeah, One More Day, where at the end of it he's like, I'm gonna give up my wife and all the memories of it. That story leading up to that decision was like a good spot, and I always wonder where my like real deep dive into like fuck Spider-Man comes from. And I think it's One More Day because I've never liked the character again because I was all in for Spider-Man for a minute because every kid is until they learn who Daredevil is. And it was just, I'm sticking to what I'm saying.
You got to check your math on that one.
For me, One More Day was just like such an abysmal ending to a story, and that's somewhat
Now,
of like
did it undo the story for you?
it made not only that story, I never want to read it again. I have no interest in reading Spider-Man books now. Like
Wow,
that thing took down the Empire.
hard. That's some. They cut you deep, son. Jesus.
What about you? Do you have another one that maybe other people hate, but you're fine with? You and I always talk Sopranos. How did you feel about
Well,
the Sopranos ending that so many people hated?
look, we got to be careful because shocking as it is to some, there is a very loyal listener and friend of the show. So I'm going to give a dedicated spoiler alert warning to friend Casey, occasional guest here on US Comics Cast. Casey, stop listening now. Charlie, you mark the time. Um, because he's working through Sopranos now and texting me plenty about it. No, I liked the Sopranos finale, quite frankly. I also did not find it to be anywhere near as ambiguous as some people profess it to be. I think, and I want to tread lightly here because again, I cannot take any damage to this visage.
I'm just trying to get your ass kicked this week.
I know what the fuck, Charlie. No, I liked the Sopranos finale. I thought it was very, very clear. If you were paying any kind of attention, even to only that last two-part final season, it was very, very clear how that finale wrapped up, and certainly the storyline of the family war, I thought was very, very satisfying. Went down smooth.
Now with so again, for me it was this realization of like when stuff becomes not aggressively, I don't feel aggressive hatred for stuff when the ending is terrible. Instead it just becomes like this thing that I avoid forever. So I was talking to one of my buddies about it, and I was like, what are some like movies that were like good or heaven forbid great? And for me, that list becomes so weird because I love a lot of things that are arguably not great. Do you remember Scarlett Johansson's movie Lucy? It's
Lucy,
kind
is
of
that
like,
the one where she, like the drugs break up and inside her and
yes, and she
she
gets
becomes
like,
like I
it's
thought
like
that was
limitless.
a prequel to her. Like, isn't that basically how she became? Come
You just
on,
fixed
dude.
that movie for me.
Come on, bro.
The end of
Make
the
your checks
movie.
out to CEO. Sorry, I was just
Dude,
kidding.
no, that was fucking hilarious. I thought you were gonna give him like a PO box. I was like, do we have this set up?
I
No,
just
she
pretended
like,
that my Wi-Fi froze. I was like, "Oh, hey, punchline's coming."
how great would it be if it actually froze there and it was just like it went
Yeah,
on 10 more minutes?
great,
But
not great at all.
in Lucy, it's like even her disappearing into nothing because her brain's fully unlocked, which is kind of the movie Limitless, which also was like a little dumb.
I mean, that
It
was it. Would be like if she overdosed on the limitless pill, like his first wife. Like that. It was a bit much. It was a bit
It,
much.
dude, when she gives the giant, ludicrously long USB memory stick, that's like what she leaves with the world's knowledge. That
Dude,
is some of the dumbest shit I've ever
movies
seen.
are consistently trying to teach us things under the radar. She's saying clearly size does matter. If you want a Scarlett Johansson in your life, it's sometimes not enough to host SNL. Sometimes, or be the head writer. Sometimes you need that long ass USB stick. I got one for you, Charlie, and I know
Yeah.
for a fact that again, that particular movie. I don't know that it was all that redeeming even before the over it wrapped up. Um, However, one that I particularly loved, maybe because I was just in a dark fucking place at the time, or maybe that's just the way that my particular brand of humor skews. But so many people loathe the ending of to the point of like not being able to enjoy the series that preceded it anymore. Because I got news for you. If you didn't like the last Seinfeld episode, watch all the other fucking 100 or
Yes.
70 or whatever. Like, just don't watch that one. It's fine. Like, everything resets on a week-to-week basis. It's fine. I mean, once Poppy pees on the couch, yeah, no, you can't look at the couch anymore the same way. I get that. but don't watch the finale. If you know it doesn't even take place in New York. It's fine. But the one that I loved that many people seem to hate and can't watch the series anymore is fucking Dinosaurs.
Oh, Dinosaurs,
Dinosaurs
the most heartbreaking
is
ending.
the most lovable shit that you like. Fucking Jim Henson esque at his best, and you're like, why I got to think about this little adorable baby fucking dying, and it's his father's fault. That shit was Earl's fault, son.
How fantastic was it that fucking of all things, Dinosaurs, that writer's room must have been like, oh, we got canceled?
Ooh.
We have the finale. They must have been laughing
That
their bags
envelope
off.
must have been like double bagged, triple sealed, in case of emergency break glass type shit.
Oh,
They're like everybody's working. Oh, everybody loves us. The ratings are fantastic. We're selling merch. If these dumb motherfuckers try to come through and cancel us ever, we're going to break the glass on this summer bitch and make everybody cry.
the only thing that could have been more brutal is if they suddenly had like $1 million budget to show as the shit hits or like their skin peel off
Oh
of
God.
the baby. It was
Oh.
that's it's just brutal.
You know,
Now here's
that little fucking baby would have deserved it. He physically abused everybody in that goddamn house, not the mom of my ass. Not gonna get to high school, apparently. Keep talking that shit, baby.
here's my other big one or my other big question for you. Just because a movie or a project wins awards doesn't mean there's not this huge contingency that just hates it to the point where even an idea like an aspect of it can take it away. There's a lot of people who hate Shape of Water, which it won Best Picture in 2017.
Yeah.
And some people are like, man, it's splashed but gender reversed. Now that's a movie I know you love.
Love Shape of Water.
When people like you don't ever seem to be much affected by the world at large.
Nah.
So for me, is it like you hear someone hates Shape of Water, you're just like, whatever.
Uh-oh. We're getting the warning, Charlie. You got
We're
final
breaking
thoughts,
down.
son.
Let me ask you this, my friend. Is there
Better wrap up
any
that gavel, B.
is there any movie or comic that was so poorly ended that you just will never want to return to it? Or even worse still, you were like, there's nothing redeeming about this project because of the way it ended. Some people hate the way Invincible ends, the comic book, not the movie, but probably both. But with Invincible, that's one of my favorite of all time. Some people hate the way Walking Dead ended, the comic book, not the series yet, but I'm sure people will hate that. What says you?
Short answer over the goal.
Yes.
No. It is often said that there is no book so bad that you cannot find something good or redeeming about it, and I fall into that category. So I feel that same way about all my pet projects. There's something in it to love, otherwise you wouldn't have been invested.
And it always could be worse. It could be Dark Tower, where that movie is
I
just.
told you, do not mention that movie in my presence.
I feel like we're dance breaking. You're gonna do 30 seconds. That's
This
my
is your
topic.
final thoughts. That's your final thoughts.
I want to hear what you think. What movie lost you in the 0 hour? As the alarm goes off, I need to hear from you. You can hit us up on all of our social media, US Comics HQ, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You go to our website. Let us know what you think as John dances away on the video version, which you can find exclusively on Facebook and YouTube.
Better wrap it up, B. Yeah.
I like the new wrap it up alarm.
I gotta tell you, dude. Oof. I gotta start cranking up those steps because that longer dance break done took it out of me. Holy cow.
Oh man, fantastic! I love though that nothing has ever been ruined. I wish one day I'll evolve into your state of consciousness. Man. But the state of consciousness.
There's enough garbage going on in real life. I'm gonna save my disappointment and hatred for that. All of my fiction that I have embraced in my little clutches, you know what? I'm gonna love it come hell or high water. If
I
they
like it.
disappoint me, but like, it's not that I'm not angry at you, finale. I'm just disappointed, and honestly, that hurts them worse.
It does. You write him a strongly worded letter. I like it. John, let's pay some bills. Who's one
Oh,
of our sponsors
finally.
this beautiful week?
Well, look, I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you want some gaming entertainment, you go right to Facebook Gaming, and look, credit where credit is due. On Facebook, there's really only one Sarge. It is Sergeant Finesse. 2 streams a day, outstanding gaming content, supported games, giveaways. Don't be a sucker. Check them out today. Throw them a like, throw them a follow. When you're done, do the same for us. Please, please, please. Consider becoming a supporter of the Sarge. If you need to pick me up, do like I do. Follow the White Rabbit down to sneakenergy.com. It's so delicious. I just love wrapping my lips around it and slurping. Also, as well as
Hot.
if you need some new gear like this, go over to geeksunleash.com. Use code SARGE there at checkout. When the Sarge is on deck, salute. GG, son. Charlie, who you listening to?
You know, I need tunes. 13-hour flight. I needed to rock a lot of music, so I listened to one of my absolute favorite bands of all time. You hear them at the beginning and end of every episode, and that, of course, is Bad Mary. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Bad Mary Band. You can go to their website, buy some merch, buy some music, badmary.com. You can support them financially if you are in a position to do so over on patreon.com/Bad Mary. And the best part is, do you just want to soak in those tunes?
I do.
Bad Mare is available on all audio streaming services. So just get ready because another tune is dropping in about 20 minutes, skis. But with that said, John, are you ready? Because I'm about to start your time.
Let me wrap my lips around again.
Oh, there it is. Slurp up.
You hit it. I'm all juiced up. Woo! Sneak.
Bang.
Nice. Look, folks, countrymen, lend me your ears. We are inherently a spoiled group of people.
That's true.
We
I just complained about billion-dollar blockbusters.
We're just spoiled, rotten, and you know what? It comes from a place of love. It means that they love us, or at the very least, they love our money, which is fine. It's like the same thing, really. But we're spoiled, and look, we have plenty to say. Certainly on this program, we've got plenty to say about the big two. And no, I'm not talking about Sean and Casey. I'm talking about Marvel and DC. We have plenty of opinions. We've got plenty to say. We've got plenty of shade to throw their way. But look, we've got plenty of praise as well. And
Absolutely.
it's all deserved and it's all sincere. However, they are not the only kids on the block. They are not the only players in the game. And right now, as spoiled, rotten as we are, bunch of Veruca salts that we are, I want my Oompa Loompa now. Yeah, I want more and more and more comic book property now. And you know what? Sometimes that free basing desire cannot be satiated exclusively by two houses. That's just not how it's done. Luckily, the street dealers realize what kind of customer they have in myself and Charlie, and much like yourself, our beloved viewer and listener, they know they've got more customers that they can push shit on. So, like an episode of The Wire that did not air, they want more material. And again, they're going to get it from someplace else. So, we all fell in love with The Boys.
Yes.
All of us fell in love with The Boys on Amazon. And I had plenty of conversations, Charlie, I'm sure you had the same, with people who were like, oh, it's superhero based, so it's easy to know that the origin is from a comic book. But a lot of people in my particular circle did not realize it was neither a DC nor Marvel property. So that it's a fun conversation because we can flex those like super geek muscles, like the the super geek glute where you're like, ooh, suck it in, boys. We are about to explain more than you ever wanted to know. It's called nerd splaining. It has yet to be canceled, so I'm going to lean into it as long as I can.
Just got
Um,
canceled because you said that.
fucker, son of a bitch. The hashtag doesn't exist yet, so we still got a few minutes. So yeah, the boys, and obviously we have a new season shortly coming up. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure we're finally gonna get the hero gasm, which is gonna be just must see TV. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I mean, we have a proliferation of awesome projects. Matter of fact, Charlie teased one of mine himself because he cannot help
Damn
himself.
it.
Doesn't make a difference if
You
he
got
is
one brain.
thousands of miles away. But we're getting one of my absolute very, very favorite comic book properties. We're going to be getting an animated version. Invincible also going to be on Amazon. It's going to be like bed bunk mates with the boys. Invincible is coming up on Amazon, but that's not it. And that's animated, and I believe they're speaking about a live action a version coming our way as well.
My
So
cup
that's
runneth
that's
over.
like two for one. But I mean, fuck, we have, and we're seeing set photos already, and it's kind of like approaching rapidly. We've got Jupiter's Legacy coming
Oh,
on Netflix. We've got
those pictures
Why the
dropping.
Last Man coming up on Hulu. I mean, these are, in my expert opinion, some of the finest comic book properties that we're now getting adaptations to, and they are not from the house of DC. They are not from the minds of Marvel. It is like a brave new world out there, man.
Well, what's awesome about it too is these specific properties, because there's stuff that they have adapted before that has been amazing. It's been adapted really, really well. This is the first time where if someone falls in love with you know what we're in the dawn of? We're in the dawn of when people went to go see the movie Jurassic Park, and then someone was like, "Nah, you hear about the book though?" And then a flood of people, it wound up shooting back up to the number one the position because people loved the movie so much they wanted to get a taste of the source material. And Jurassic Park was like a beloved book already.
Oh yeah,
If
it was
someone
a it
falls
was like I mean, not just a bestseller. It was like a number one bestseller on New York Times bestsellers list for a long time.
Yeah, and what's cool about that with something like Invincible or something like Jupiter or Why the Last Man, the fan base for these are already massive, and it's not one of those weird exclusionary situations. People want you to love it too. They want to talk to you about it too. It feels
Well, they
very
have
much,
fan bases, so it's not as if you're starting from scratch per se. I mean,
yeah.
look, and I realize it can be obnoxious, and I apologize for it literally as I'm doing it, but no amount of feeling bad about it will stop me. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like a Cuomo embrace. It's
Oh no.
gonna happen. Whether like it or not,
Oh
probably
no.
not. Um, but yeah, look, we're getting these properties, and I find it interesting because a lot of these properties, while they are not from DC or Marvel, they're mostly, if not all, inspired by some aspect of
Absolutely.
work of lore that has been kind of gifted to us all. And U.S. Comics is no exception. I mean, you can look at almost any particular character and play the mating game, as it were. And I'll explain what I mean by that. You can say, oh well, this character is like, imagine if A and B had a baby, you end up with Wraith, or do the equation for whomever, and you can certainly say that that's the case for Invincible. You can make that same case for Jupiter's Legacy. I mean, with the exception of certain logos, you start thinking, wait, is this like an Elseworlds? What am I looking
Yeah.
at now? Why the Last Man is a little bit different in that certainly has a little bit more of a unique to the superhero capes and the spandex mentality of comic books, but not a completely unique concept altogether. Like Yeah, I mean, I've seen Twilight Zones with similar,
Yeah,
scenarios.
it's a
But
very Twilight Zony.
I got to throw it out to you, Charlie, and if you want to think about it, this is also that point of time where you look around and you see what's happening. You got the TV guy that nobody gets anymore. Version of social media where we're like, oh, this is coming. Oh shit, look at this. This looks great. Oh, but look at that over here. Like you start getting a little dizzy. Where are my pills? Yeah, I ran out. I ran out last week. It's okay. It's okay. It starts throwing you off a little bit. However, and this is where the Veruca Salt of it all really, really kicks into play because someone is sitting you down and calming you down and taking the flop sweat off your forehead for you, like, oh, you okay, baby, you okay? Oh, I know, he's really excited. But did you also know that this is coming and that's coming, this coming? And it should be enough. It should be enough, Charlie. Eventually, we should have that feeling where you're like, Thanksgiving, no more. You just push back from the table, you open up the button on your pants, drop the zipper down a few inches, and you're like, oh, let me digest while I'm sitting here, so that the pumpkin pie has someplace to go.
Because I'm
But
cramming it in there.
yeah,
It's
because
getting in there.
look, it's going down. That pumpkin did not die in vain. However, where we are right now, after Thanksgiving has ended, we grab the table and we pull ourselves back in, baby. Because Charlie, all I want to know is what else? What else are you giving me, baby? Because you are in the dream maker business, and I have a lot of dreams, sucker. So what else? So I got to throw it to you, Charlie, because
Yeah.
you do a ton of comic book reading, even certainly more than myself. I mean, you're basically my Silver Surfer to my Galactus. I'm like, just tell me what planet's worth
Tell
eating,
me what's worth
and I'll
what.
be there. I'll be there, with an appetite, and like the galaxy's largest napkin tied around my neck, and just like equally sized, proportionally sized knife and fork, and I'm just like doing one of those. So, Charlie, what that we have not gotten yet? I mean, you've gotten your turtle fix.
Yeah, well,
You've certainly seen plenty of the dead walking around. Even some of our fantasy, because I mean, you read on a lower level, so it's understandable. Even our juvenile fantasy books have been translated across the board. Everything from Harry Potter to, I mean, look, there's a ton out there that have yet to be addressed. But I want to know from you. I mean, if you have it ready, if you're not, I'll happy to jump in.
well, what I
What bell has not been rung for you yet?
for a long time, and luckily we did get a few seasons of it. For a long time, the answer was Preacher. Preacher, and that
Sure.
it falls into a weird gray space because DC does technically own it. So to move off of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you told me this was owned by someone and they were working on it. But Saga is such an epic tale. Could you imagine that on an HBO Max? Could you imagine that on any of these huge streaming
Can I
services?
imagine it, or have I imagined it? Now,
Both.
Saga is my maybe my number one favorite property out there right now.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is
you
literally like, again, to play the mating game. It's Star Wars and Game of Thrones, and you just smash them together like your dark helmet, and you're playing with your dolls again before before the commander comes bursting in. It is such a combination of beloved things, and also, as well as our boy Nick Kroll says, completely unique. That, yeah, I completely agree with you. That would be one of, if not the greatest adaptations, because we have a little bit of everything. Frankly, you've got the spaghetti western aspect of it, you've got the sci-fi aspect of it, you've got the superhero of it, you've got the love story, you've got the interspecies smashing, you've got cats that tell you if somebody's lying. I mean, it's got it all. It's got it all. Three titties and to the wind. Um,
There's, you know,
I do gotta
what's
say though, that comes with a very, very strong warning on the label, which with as many food allergies as you have, you might want to pay attention to. I don't want to see my brother need a shot from a EpiPen, and I don't ever want to see you get your heart broken. It has been said it will never be adapted.
just because it's too dense? Why?
So look, sometimes creators come from a place. I mean, fuck, we almost never got Mary Poppins. Sometimes creators, whether it's for moralistic reasons or they're trying to stretch out their price point, kind of tease the price a little bit, like you were Dak Prescott trying to get the most ridiculous quarterback contract I've ever seen in my life. Um, they're for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes like, no, don't even fucking bother asking me. It is not gonna happen. And
You know,
honestly, though, when
yeah.
you look at somebody like Alan Moore, who who stamped his feet and crossed his arms like, no, 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 I don't want my shit adapted. And then when he relented, and then was inevitably disappointed, if you're that type of a creator, you kind of understand. You can understand that stance.
It just seems like, there's, and I get the fear because the fear is it won't live up to its source material. But hell, if you take enough cracks at an apple, that's
Charlie,
anywhere in
I'm
the
so glad
multiverse.
that you froze up on that because no one
Oof.
anywhere gets a crack at the apple.
That is
Unless
that is
maybe I'll give you one exception, and that's because it is very much almost time to meet the Mets. You can get a crack at the apple if you're Francisco Lindor and you're at Citi Field because why there when he hits one, you know that apple's coming up.
it's
Meet the Mets.
there's what I meant was there's just an awesome way to elevate the material. And when we're talking about the world of comics where everything's possible and everything can kind of be someone's vision poured out, I get the stress of it. A property that I know was bought because Mark Millar has an entire production
Bless
company
my man.
working on stuff, but I haven't heard anything in
Well, he's got a
years.
huge deal at Netflix.
Well, but that's why I'm so excited because
Huge.
my second favorite time travel story, if number one is the Back to the Future trilogy, my neck it like it's coming up on that DeLorean's backside, Chrononauts. Which is a time travel story that blew up the indie scene for a minute. This was one of those stories that everyone was told. Add this to your pull list. I think it's 5 issues. It's a very tight story that could be wonderfully adapted into a movie, a single movie, or it could be wonderfully adapted into a trilogy, or better yet, you could set it up with a season or two of television and live in this world that I just love. I love that story.
You know what? I do have to say this. And again, I blame Veruca for this as well because our nerd culture, like our the body, of geeks of us all, um, it was slim pickings for a minute there, and I got a 1 or 2 months ahead of you even, uh, but it was even more slim pickings for my group. Like we had to lean heavily into like lore that made no godly sense. Shit like He-Man, were like, yeah, fucking power sword. Like He-Man didn't make any fucking sense because they were making that shit up on the fly, like Thundercats and Silverhawks and the reason why we were so ready to kind of grasp onto the back of those capes with 2 fists and just hang on tight was because we didn't exactly have a hell of a lot of options out there as little kids. Obviously, the more sophisticated readers had a bit more of an excuse. However, by the time we started getting into your generation, there was a little bit more meat on the bone. There was more shit spread around the table, but nothing. There's never ever been in our world a time like there is fucking now, where it's almost a challenge to flip around the dial and not fall on a comic book property in one capacity or another. It feels like sometimes like fucking Avengers, Superman, Batman. I'm like, can somebody give me a Jane Eyre? Can I get something in a skirt,
Yes.
please? So like we have such a deep well of content, but again, we're just not. It's like the Chinese food of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's never fucking enough. Even when we get standalones, which play beautifully and have no need for a franchise building for the
Yeah.
Wanteds of the world or the Losers. I mean, look, we're getting consistently fed like Neo getting fucking pink ooze shoved up his ass. It's just like it's a constant stream of content. But the fact of the matter is, there's so much more out there
Yeah.
that we haven't seen yet. I really take more umbrage with the fact of as much that is out there that we haven't seen. Why are we getting third, fourth, fifth versions of things that we've gotten already? Like, and yeah, obviously we're both huge Superman fans and we're Batman admirers, and I'm all in for everything from the Marvel universe. Like, there's plenty, there's plenty there. But on the same token, even if you wanted to look at the big two again and say, well, like, when am I ever gonna fucking see a Hawkman or Hawkwoman on screen? When am I gonna get my
Yeah.
Blue Beetle? When am I gonna get
Instead, we're gonna get more Green Lanterns.
well, I mean, even Green Lantern has more of an excuse than some of these other characters who we've seen. Like you, it's tough when there's such a repeat of business where like you lose track. You're like, oh shit, that he was also a Superman. Oh, that's right. Or like you have consistent actors who have played more than one fucking character and they're nowhere near the first, second, or third. Like there's a lot out there, guys. Don't just grab the low hanging fruit.
That's right. Well, as to wrap it up, John, what is just spit out? What's one that you're super excited about, or one that you're dreading?
Look, I mean, at this point, my heart is concrete, crusted over. It cannot be broken again. God, I hope you're not listening to that one. Look, at this point, you can't hurt me. Give me all of the Jupiter's Legacy. Give me the next season of The Boys. Goddamn, it's one of my favorite top 3 of all time. Give me Invincible. Give me animated. Give me live action. Give me VR. Give me the video game. I don't give a damn. Give it to me all. I am ready. I'm here for it. Take my money.
I've never heard a goal song more appropriate. It's just like a chaotic robot.
Just get it 500. I'll be all right.
Fantastic. Thank you, John, for that excellent segment, my dear brother and CEO of US Comics. Before we finish up, I just want to remind you all, each and every week, we come to you on Facebook. We come to you anywhere you can listen to podcasts. It's US Comics Cast. You can follow us on all of our social media at US Comics HQ. You can go to our website, uscomics.com. Make sure you visit our sponsors and give them a big old hug. But my brother, my dear CEO, why don't you tell them the only way that we end each and every episode of US
Look,
Comics?
it does not matter if you're in the tri-state area or thousands of miles away in the South Pacific, like fucking Charlie, you son of a bitch, flat leaving motherfucker, you.
All that stuff is true.
All you gotta do is turn the power on, turn the volume up, tune Bad Mary in, open the window wide, and scream out into the night sky, "Save me, space girl!" We out.